Hello everyone, welcome back to Jikook Diaries channel. Many people see Jungkook's tattoos as mere expressions of freedom, body art, or the rebellious phase of a young artist finally daring to show himself without a filter. But for those who truly pay attention, who follow every little detail with care and patience, Jungkook's tattoos never feel random. Nothing is just a coincidence when it comes to Jungkook, especially when we're talking about something he chooses to permanently inscribe on his own body. And the longer we look, the clearer it becomes that these tattoos aren't just about him as an individual, but about someone who has always been at the center of his emotional life. Jimin. Jungkook is the type of person who rarely speaks at length about his feelings. He's not someone who easily pours out his feelings through open words. Instead, he chooses a quieter language. The language of small actions. The language of glances. The language of repeated habits. And at some point, that language becomes ink on his own skin. Something that can't be easily erased. Something that will accompany him for life. When someone like Jungkook decides to get a tattoo on his body, it doesn't come from a momentary impulse. It involves a long process, meaning, and emotion that has been carefully considered. If we trace Jungkook's journey from his debut to now, we'll see one consistent pattern. In every phase of his life, Jimin has always been there. Not just as a bandmate, but as an emotional home. As the person who makes Jungkook feel safe, understood, and accepted for who he is. Jungkook grew up in front of the camera, but many parts of him are only truly revealed when he's with Jimin. And those tattoos came after all that bond was formed, after years of togetherness, after life experiences that shaped them both. Some of Jungkook's tattoos are often dismissed as simply aesthetic. Letters, symbols, small images that seem random at first glance. But if we pause and ask why that symbol, why on that part of the body, why appeared at that particular time in his life, these questions slowly reveal deeper layers of meaning. Jungkook never chooses an empty symbol. He chooses something that resonates with his identity, memories, and the people who shaped him. And Jimin is an integral part of it all. There's something interesting about Jungkook. He can be very outspoken in his music, but very private in his personal life. When the world demands an explanation, he chooses silence. But Jungkook's silence isn't empty. It's full. Full of feeling, full of messages just not verbalized. Tattoos are one of the most honest outlets for someone like Jungkook. Because tattoos aren't made solely for the public. They're made for oneself. And what a person chooses to see every day on their own body is a reflection of what matters most to them. Jungkook and Jimin's relationship has always moved in a subtle way. It's never loud, never forced. But that's precisely why it feels real. From the way Jungkook looks for Jimin in a crowd, from the way he adapts to Jimin's moods, from the small reflexes that occur unconsciously. All of it forms a consistent narrative. As Jungkook's tattoos began to grow, many fans realized that their timing overlapped with important emotional phases in their relationship. It was as if Jungkook was archiving his feelings, not in a diary, but on his own skin. Tattoos aren't just visual memories, they're commitments. And commitment is something Jungkook takes very seriously. He's the type of person who, once he's made a choice, sticks with it. In friendship, in work, in love. So it's no exaggeration that many see these tattoos as the quietest yet most honest form of confession. Not a confession meant to grab headlines, but one that he knows well enough to share, and perhaps one other person at the center of all that meaning. Jimin himself is a figure who deeply influences Jungkook emotionally and artistically. Jimin is a source of warmth when Jungkook feels doubtful. He's a reminder when Jungkook is too hard on himself. In many moments, Jimin presents himself not as someone who dominates, but as someone who soothes. Such feelings are often expressed not with big words, but with small, meaningful symbols. And that's where Jungkook's tattoos find their context. Interestingly, Jungkook never really explains the meaning of his tattoos in detail. He leaves it to speculation, leaving the world guessing. But in his lack of clarity, there's an honesty that feels even more powerful. He doesn't deny, correct, or explicitly confirm. It's as if he's saying, those who need to know already know, And for those who understand the emotional dynamics between Jungkook and Jimin, that message is crystal clear. Love doesn't always have to be shouted out. Sometimes, love lives longest when it's kept quiet. Jungkook seems to understand that all too well. In a world that constantly demands transparency, he chooses a form of expression that's personal and timeless. Tattoos are a form of love that's not dependent on the moment. They don't fade when the cameras turn off. They don't change when the stage is off. They remain, embedded in the skin, following every breath, every step. For many, linking Jungkook's tattoos to his feelings for Jimin might seem excessive. But for those who have followed this journey from the beginning, the pattern is too consistent to ignore. Not a single detail in Jungkook's life is truly free from its emotional context. And Jimin is at the center of that context. From teenagers growing up together, to grown men who understand each other without needing much to say. What makes all of this so touching is the fact that Jungkook never tries to convince anyone. He doesn't construct a narrative for the public. He simply lives, feels, and expresses himself in the most honest way possible. If those tattoos speak, they don't shout. They whisper. But the whisper is loud enough for those who care to listen. Ultimately, Jungkook's tattoos aren't proof to the world. They're not official declarations, not public statements. They're archives of feelings, a trace of emotion left by someone who loved deeply and silently. And in every line of ink, in every symbol he chose, there's a story of a connection that never really needed to be explained. About someone whose presence is so important that his name doesn't need to be written, because it's already imprinted on their heart, and now on their skin. Jungkook may never say out loud what Jimin means to him, but he doesn't need to, because for those who see with their hearts, the answer is already there. Engraved, permanent, and honest. If you make it to the end of this video, one thing is certain. Not all feelings need to be expressed in words. Some people live their most authentic lives in the little things that are often overlooked. The looks, the habits, and the choices made in silence. Jungkook never says much, but the way he chooses, the way he perseveres, and the way he expresses himself speaks volumes. If you also feel that nothing is truly coincidental when it comes to Jungkook and Jimin, share your feelings in the comments. We're not here to convince anyone, just to understand with a more open heart. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed the discussion, subscribe so you don't miss the next Jikook Diaries, and share it with fellow armies who always pay attention to the small, meaningful details. Thank you for watching until the end. See you in the next Jikook story.